Hello and welcome to our latest video. My name is David Chill from Versatility in Print and the hotfoiluk.com channel. Before we start, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all those people who have messaged and contacted me over this last year. As you're probably aware, we try and do at least one of these videos on a yearly basis, so this is this year's offering. Because there's quite a large number of people who've asked me several questions, is go back over some of those questions answered and try and help you out. So today's video is entitled The Hot Foil Platen, the Swiss Army Knife of Hot Foil Machines. And the reason for the title is, as you're probably aware, a Swiss Army knife has many facets and you can cut with it, you can have scissors, you've got a screwdriver, a magnifying glass, you can gut a fish, whatever it might be. And I think people think that a hot foil machine will do just one thing, which is hot foil print. But actually, if you want to use your hot foil machine properly, there are so many different things you can do with just one machine. So I thought this video would be a really good idea just to go over some of the things that you can do. I know we did a video of all things 13 years ago when we first started, but I thought it was time to update that and so we can bring it up to what's happening in 2023. So what I'm going to do today is show you all the different facets and the different ways you can perhaps use your hot foil machines. And this is particular to hot foil platen machines because you need that toggle action. So if you're looking at something like a Marshall printing press, a Blockmaster, a Magmark or a Polydiam, all of those machines will be fine for this sort of work. When you're buying a second-hand machine, try and get one that does have this toggle action. This is a mechanical action. When it comes down to the stop point, and you can hear it here, this is flat and straight, and you're providing a constant and even amount of pressure each time you use the machine, and this is vital in getting good quality and consistency out of your printing. So if you can get a machine with this type of action, please do try and look for this feature. We've put here the chase and the die mounting block. This is the handle that you can hold the chase with when it's hot, and on the die mounting block I've already placed an 8-gauge die. But to go through some of the other things as well, here we've got what's called furniture. Now furniture is just a fancy name for these metal bars that are individual in various sizes, and they can fill out the chase. So when we unscrew the die mounting block that fits in that chase and take that centre part out, this furniture can fit in there. Here, these two red pads, these are sublimation plates. I've got a larger one and a smaller one, but they can be cut to any size. They are, I suppose, relatively expensive for what they are, which is a metal-backed silicon plate, but they're for doing sublimation foil printing or toner hot foil printing, so that's something else you can do with the machine. Then here, this is a Marshall's pencil or pen jig, and it has a set of jaws in it, and that will grip or hold a flat-sided pen or pencil. Next to that, this here is a cutting die. It's difficult to see, but you can probably see the shape of the cutting die. And within this wood, we've got a jagged square aperture. And we can use the machine then for die cutting. Particularly if you've got a lot of repetitive die cutting. It's so much quicker than using some of these craft machines. Next to that, we have got some type. So there's a tray of type there. And these things here are called slip cases, and slip cases are a way of putting type into your chase. Most people, or I suppose because I'm so old, will do it freeform without using slip cases, but if you prefer to use a slip case, they come in a various numbers of sizes, 10 point, 12 point, 14 point, 18 point, 24, up to about 36. And you can set lines of type individually. Just below that, we've got a creasing bar, so you can use that in your machine to create a nice, neat crease on a card, particularly if you're doing greetings cards or Christmas cards or that type of thing. And then below that here, this one is a perforating bar. So like a creasing bar that gives you a crease, the perforating bar will give you a perforated line. So you might use that if you're doing some raffle tickets, for example. Now, whilst it's not the quickest way to do things sometimes, but if you're in a small studio at home or working from a garage or shed or whatever, your machine can do block printing, you can use type, you can do sublimation foil printing, you can do die cutting, you can print onto pencils or pens, and you can use type. So you've got about 6 or 7 things that your simple hot foil machine can do. And that's why I like to call it the Swiss Army knife. Finally, the final one is up here. I've got this laid out, and this is where we've got actually an embossing plate. So with a printing plate, you're actually printing onto something. This here, we have a male and female plate, and this is a job we've got readily set up for one of our customers, and we can do either a foil print and emboss or a blind emboss. So there's another thing with your machine that you can do. So to start with, we're going to do what the machine was originally designed for, which is a standard hot foil print. So I've placed a card into the machine. And there we go. And let me just repeat that once more, because we'll use these cards a little bit later on. Next one goes into the machine. And then the next one. And it's just a nice simple process. Keep placing the cards into the machine and printing away. So now we're going to use the hot foil machine to do the second function. We've changed the foil, most importantly, to a sublimation or toner foil. So what we're going to do is we're taking our image that has come out of a laser printer, and you'll see from the picture that it's perfectly black. And now we're going to place it into the machine. We've put on the sublimation plate. If you remember earlier, that was the sublimation plate. That's now been put onto the machine. Make an impression, and then hopefully I can show you where it was black. It is now turned perfectly gold. I'll do one more. This one I'm going to use and just show you how fine a detail you can get into the machine. Bring it out, and there everything is covered. Wherever there was black, there is now gold. So this is sublimation foil printing or toner foil printing. You may do it on something like a Heidi Swap or a Mink or one of those type of machines, a Patsy May, but you can turn your hot foil printer for about anything from £60–70 up to about £150, depending on the size of that plate. You can turn your hot foil printer into a sublimation or toner foil printer. The third thing we're going to show you with the hot foil machine is something called a blind emboss. So what I've done is, if you can remember from the earlier part of the video, we had an embossing plate which has a male and a female part to it. The male part I've placed on the platen. The female part that goes in, which is metal, I've placed on the hot plate and lined the two up. So all I have to do is place a piece of card into the machine, close it and bring it open again, and we have that blind emboss on the piece of card. I'll do that once more. If I was going to foil and emboss, I'd foil that image first using a foiling plate, and then I would line it up and do an emboss. So once more, we've got the two meeting together, and there we have our blind emboss. From the beginning of the video, I am sure you'll remember we spoke about the possibility of using type with your hot foil machine. Now, not every hot foil machine will be able to take type, only those machines that have a chase with them. You can buy a chase for quite a few machines, but not all of them. So if you have a Print UK machine, for example, unfortunately they never made one for that. So what I've done is I've taken one of the slip cases that you saw earlier, and we've mounted some type in the slip case, the type being the individual letters. Set that up. This one has the name of Derek and Tracy. We're now going to make an impression, take it out, and there we've got the names Derek and Tracy on the piece of paper. And of course, it could be any name for personalization, any event. Let me do one more for you. So we've placed it into the machine, we've made an impression, and there we have it. We're now on to function 5. So what we've done is we've taken our furniture, and within the furniture we've placed a creasing bar. Now I can just take my piece of card, place it into the machine, bring the handle down, bring it back up again, and you've now got a perfect line or a crease line in the center of your card, and so you can now crease the card without it cracking or splitting. I'll do that just once more to show you. We have it lined up in the machine, we've placed it in, and we've created that crease line. Alright, it's not the quickest way of doing it, but if you don't have any other machine available and you need to do greetings cards or wedding stationery and you need a nice neat crease, why not use your hot foil machine? It's just another one of those things that the machine will do. So now we're going to do the perforation using a perforation bar. Couple of little changes. So when we did the crease, we had a piece of press pan card, which is the make ready backing board on the Platen, and I've swapped it over now, and I've got a thin metal plate to protect my Platen. The question is, why have I done that? And the answer is quite simple. What you want to do is always protect your Platen plate, and you don't want to get any cut marks or perforation marks into that. So I've just used a thin piece of stainless steel to protect the Platen. We're going to take our piece of card, we're going to place it now into the machine, close down the Platen, and it might be a little bit difficult for you to see, but we've created a little tear or perforation strip, and you can now see very simply, very easily, we can perforate that piece of card. I'll do it once more for you. So again, place it into the machine, line it up to where you want it to be, close it down, and here we have our perforation. And this is into a 300 gram card, and it does that with no problem whatsoever. So this is use number 7. What we've done here, and I wanted to show you, we've used the chase, and then we've used the furniture, which you can remember goes into the chase to hold things like the perforating bar or the creasing bar or the type. And on this occasion, I've used it and I've put an aperture cut within the chase. Now we're going to slot this into our hot foil machine. It's nice and snug, fits in there. I'm going to take my piece of card, like so, place that to where I've positioned it, and now you can see we've got a beautifully cut aperture, and that would be ready for, say, a greetings card. And this aperture doesn't have to be square, it could be any shape you want, round, oval, the shape of a car, house, animal, whatever you want that to be. So a great way, instead of using something like a Cricut machine or one of the other craft machines out there, but you can do these in volume and quickly and with precision. I'll do it once more just to show you again. I'm going to take my piece of card, place it into the machine, handle down, and it just neatly cuts an aperture out. So item number 8, as you can remember at the beginning, we showed you one of these, which is, this happens to be a JT Marshall pen jig, but other pen jigs are available. And how this fits into your machine, and please look at some of our earlier videos where we show this happening. There is a little tiny hole, and it locates to a little grub screw on the back of the pen jig. So the pen jig now sits in a fixed position on your machine. We can now place this onto the platen of the hot foil machine. We can take our pencil, which is blank, place it into our machine. With our printing die, or it could be type already in the machine, we can make an impression, bring that out, and there we go. We've created a printed pencil with your message on. This will work on flat-sided pencils or pens, but won't necessarily work on rounded items because of that curvature within a round item. I know it's limited in this day and age, but yet another use for your hot foil printer. We haven't gone over the materials that you can use because, of course, not only can you use paper or card, you can use plastic, you can use leather, you can print onto rubber, you can print onto wood. So this then expands just the huge amount of different things you can do. Of course, you can print on books, on journals, on diaries, anything from a piece of tissue paper right up to something that could be, say, 1 inch, 2 centimeters thick, and on some of the other machines, some of the flatbed machines, where you've got the opportunity to print something could be 6 to 8 inches deep. So this is why I say the hot foil machine is like the Swiss Army knife. It is so versatile. The final thing is number 9. If you turn the machine upside down on its side, turn it up to about 200 degrees, I'm sure if you put a little bit of olive oil on the heating plate, you could fry an egg, but I don't recommend that you do that. So that's nearly 10 different uses out of your foil machine. So thank you so much for watching our latest video. I really do appreciate it. If you want to get in contact with us, you know I'm not the world's most tech savvy guy, so please contact us by phoning us on our UK landline number or go to the website www.hotfoiluk.com and find us that way. Thank you so much for all your questions and speaking to all of you out there over this last year, and wish you well until the next video in a year's time. Bye now.